check out this rain. This is what we're seeing. Oh, holy.
In Texas, our weather is always changing, especially in the spring.
I don't want to go anywhere yet. I'm shaking.
Oh my God.
From tornadoes.
Tornado just went in town.
To hail.
The kids are still in the car.
Even flash flooding.
How old are the kids?
Before the storms hit, WFAA's team of meteorologists is getting you ready. Consider this your guide to Texas spring storms.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Pete Delkus, and we're getting you ready for the spring severe weather season. Now is the time to prepare because spring storms can be powerful and destructive, and you don't want to be caught off guard without a plan. You can trust that we've got a team of expert meteorologists guiding you through the forecast days before the storm. We'll be on the air as the weather moves in, and we'll take you to the aftermath once the storm is gone. Over the next half hour, we're walking you through our spring weather outlook, what you can expect over the next few months. We'll talk about how to put together a severe weather plan and what to look for when severe weather strikes. And we'll go behind the scenes for a look at weather technology that could keep us safe during severe storms. Well, let's start things off with our spring outlook. Again, it's here. Severe weather season is here. And as we look at the forecast models, as we head through April, May, and June, really the heart of severe weather season here in North Texas, I want to look at three different models right now. The European model, as far as precip goes, below normal precip here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and across North Texas. The American model is the same thing across the whole southern portion of the United States. Drier than normal as we head through April, May, and June. And then for North Texas and locations off to the east, it's still with the Canadian model, it's below normal with our precip. So what does all of this mean? Well, if you take a look at the trends in tornado environment frequency, April, May, and June, we've been trending up outside of Texas, areas to the east of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, and locations off to the east of there. All of these red states are trending up in the tornado environment frequency. Here in North Texas, over the last number of years, we're starting to trend down. We continue to trend down, I should say. This is still the top region here in North Texas. The Southern Plains is still the top region in tornado frequency, but it is experiencing a downward trend right now. Remember this, in North Texas, the average number of tornadoes that we have per year in North Texas, we average about 18 per year. But in North Texas, okay, check this out. 10 of the last 15 years have seen fewer tornadoes compared to the average. We know you're busy, so when there's the potential of weather that could impact your life, we'll be issuing a WFAA Weather Alert Day. And when we do, you'll want to stop and pay attention because we'll be talking about when the weather will hit, the impact it will have, and what you need to do to prepare. Spring is the peak of tornado season. In fact, the average tornado count in the U.S. more than doubles from February to March. Meteorologist Marielle Ruiz takes a look back at last year's spring tornadoes.
According to data from NOAA's Storm Prediction Center, we had more than 1,400 confirmed tornado reports in 2024, and most of them happened during the spring. Between April 25th to the 28th, severe weather produced 183 tornadoes across parts of the Midwest and the Great Plains. During the outbreak, a large and strong EF3 tornado ripped through the community of Sulphur, Oklahoma on April 27th. I was there to see the aftermath. I'm going to take you in. This is where a house once stood. Now, this infrastructure completely gone. You can still see a few pipes in the ground. You can see what's left over of a basement. Trees have been toppled over. Again, consistent with a high-end EF3 close to an EF4. But May was even busier. 527 confirmed tornado reports across the U.S. for the month. 7 people were killed and hundreds of structures destroyed when an EF3 tornado tore through Valley View in Cook County during the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Listen to how powerful that storm was. That's video from inside a Shell gas station where more than 100 people sheltered from the storm. The National Weather Service says 5 tornadoes hit that day.
So the question is, how does a tornado form? So think of it this way. You have winds at the surface, right? We have these winds at the surface, and we have warm, moist air in that location as well. Aloft, we have winds at, let's say, 30,000 feet that are cooler and drier. So you see how we have the clash of air masses there. Warm, moist at the surface, cooler and drier aloft. Then you have the wind. Okay, this wind is moving in different directions at different speeds at the surface, at the loft, and that causes the air to begin to spin. And once the air begins to spin, and as a thunderstorm starts to pass over this spinning air, it's stretched vertically, creating a funnel. When that funnel is created and it touches the ground, at that moment, that's when we technically have a tornado. And now that you know how a tornado has formed, now you need to have a safe plan for you and your family. And that's where meteorologist Cassie Hyder comes in. She has some tips.
Now's the time to either review or develop a severe weather plan. First, know where to take shelter. If you don't have a basement or a storm cellar, the next place to be is in the centermost part of your home on the lowest level with no windows. That's often the bathroom, but that could also be under the staircase, in a closet, or in the hallway. Once you're in your safe place, you want to get as low to the ground as possible. Put your hands over your head to protect yourself from any flying debris. Wear shoes and a helmet if you have one. What if you're driving or live in a mobile home? In both cases, you need to find a building to shelter in. If you can't, find a low-lying area like a ditch or a ravine, lie flat, and shield your head with your hands. One more important note, stay away from highway overpasses and under bridges. That's actually the most dangerous place to be. Other things to consider, create an emergency kit. Make sure to have things like non-perishable food items, water, medication, batteries, flashlights, a weather radio if you have one, and a phone charger so that you can check your smartphone for our latest updates when the storm approaches.
I'm Daybreak meteorologist Greg Fields, and our team on Daybreak knows severe weather can happen anytime. That's why it's so important to know the different risk levels so you can be prepared when storms develop. The categories from the Storm Prediction Center are marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, and high. Under a marginal risk, isolated severe thunderstorms are possible. There is a low tornado risk. When we see a slight risk, scattered severe thunderstorms are possible. The tornado risk is higher, and there's a chance for larger hail. Now to the level enhanced, level 3. That's a little more numerous with severe storms, a few intense storms as well, and a few tornadoes. Rarely do we get to the moderate category, with widespread severe storms likely, some strong tornadoes possible as well. And even more rare is that high risk level 5, where a tornado outbreak is expected across the area, with long-lived and very widespread intense severe storms. A storm that a lot of you might remember is the one that hit downtown Fort Worth back in 2000. I remember because I was working that day, and this year marks 25 years since that intense EF3 tornado. Here's a look back.
For those of you who have been away from your television sets and away from any kind of communication this evening, what has happened is that a tornado has struck the downtown Fort Worth area, primarily the northern downtown Fort Worth area.
It was the scariest thing I ever experienced in my life.
Destruction of a tornado coming towards us, ripped the whole back of the building out, ceiling falling in.
Falling the glass down the hallway and just made it. It was like a carnival ride. It was shaking in here and everything.
The windows started popping in on the 35th floor.
The siren was going off and the emergency lights started flashing. This was real. This was not playing.
Scary. Wizard of Oz. Really scary.
Bomb looks like it went off in there. I went up there to salvage some of my items.
We rode in on the tail end of the storm that spawned the tornado here in downtown Fort Worth. The side was completely torn off of the prayer tower, and we were actually told that there were people inside the prayer tower at the time.
You could feel it just rushing through, and we got out right in time when we were praying. And I don't know, we went out when it was over and looked at the walls. Everything was took out.
Gloria, we're here at the Cash America building, where if you look behind me, it's just amazing. The damage is on all four sides of this building.
My understanding, my office is gone. It was just destroyed. There were actually machines flying through the air, and most of it's gone.
This is Sundance Square. The area looks like a bomb went off.
but you can see these homes here are devastated.
And what you are looking at is a lot of very severe damage. That we are told a total of about 90 houses damaged here, 20 of them with this kind of damage, severe.
The figures are now 4 people apparently died in this whole disaster, 2 apparently from flooding and 2 from the tornado. All 4 of them, we are told, in Fort Worth. Again,
Tonight, right now, people are truly celebrating the miracle of life.
It's not just tornadoes. North Texans are used to seeing hail during severe storms. Coming up, what every homeowner needs to know if your home gets damaged. Plus, meteorologist Jesse Hawila hits the road to get an up-close look at new technology keeping us safe when severe weather strikes.
Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Jesse Hawila, and North Texas has already seen its first tornadoes of the season. Earlier in March, an EF1 tornado ripped through Irving, blowing off rooftops and toppling over power poles. The same day, we also had an EF1 tornado in Wise County. Strong winds have also done some major damage. This was destruction at a warehouse in Louisville. How storms like these form has been part of a years-long research project, and I got to hit the road to see what they're doing.
We left this morning at 8 o'clock. We're now in Norman, Oklahoma. When you think of where the most research and where severe weather central is in the entire world, literally the world, it's here. The world.
In Norman, you'll find the National Severe Storms Laboratory, the Storm Prediction Center, Radar Operations Center. Oh, and Dorothy.
You understand this is like Chuck E. Cheese for me? Hold on, let me collect myself. I'm so excited. Okay, let's go.
Our first stop of the day led us to this big blue dome where we met with the Deputy Director of the National Severe Storms Laboratory.
A little breezy.
Yes, it is.
How's it going, man? I'm Jesse.
Pretty good. Kurt Hondel.
Inside that dome, Kurt showed us around the Advanced Technology Demonstrator. That's the newest, most advanced weather radar there is.
Radar is a primary tool for issuing warnings, and the better the tools that the forecasters have, the better they can use to issue those warnings.
Let's go back to that term, phased array. It's the main difference between the radars we have today and the radars of the future.
Instead of having one transmitter, in this case we've got 4,864 transmitters.
Phased array radar scans the sky electronically instead of mechanically. This allows the radar beam to focus in on particular areas of interest, like a severe storm or a tornado, in order to provide more frequent radar updates.
We want to lengthen the lead time of the warning and reduce false alarms.
According to a 2011 study published by the American Meteorological Society, the average false alarm rate for tornado warnings is about 75%. That means only 1 out of every 4 tornado-warned storms actually produce a tornado. The National Weather Service says the current average lead time for a tornado is only 13 minutes. That's how long you have to seek shelter after a warning is issued before a tornado hits. Now, these stats may seem a bit alarming, but we've come a long way in a short amount of time.
It's insane how much it's changed. When we started out, we had the paper maps coming off the facsimile machine twice a day, and you'd kind of point to a state and say, we think there might be tornadoes there. That was the best we could do. Those are the instrument racks that go on top of our vehicles.
This is Eric Rasmussen. He's a senior research meteorologist at NOAA who's been chasing and studying tornadoes in the field for 45 years.
We had 16mm movie cameras that we would film tornadoes with, then take the film back to the laboratory and track little pieces of debris frame by frame by frame.
Eric now leads one of the most detailed severe storm research projects ever, called Taurus. It involves drones, a Hurricane Hunter aircraft, 3 mobile radar systems, balloon-borne sensor launchers, and 8 Mesonet trucks equipped with data collection instruments.
The furthest forward instruments measure pressure, the atmospheric pressure. Then the stuff in the funny white tube, those are temperature and humidity sensors in there.
The goal of Taurus is to gather data of small-scale structures in and around supercells. They want to know what's going on in these massive storms before, during, and after there's a tornado.
For the first time, we're going to release a swarm of sounding balloons with their weather instruments just to the north or just ahead of the developing rotation. Try to send them all in at once. And so we'll just get kind of a rake of observations of temperature and humidity in the low-level air that's flowing in toward the developing tornado.
These observations taken directly from the storm will help forecasters understand what makes some storms drop tornadoes and others not.
The innovative stuff in Taurus is that we'll be flying UAV aircraft along the edge of the precipitation ahead of the developing rotation and just to the rear of the developing rotation to try to pick up on those temperature contrasts. And that's never really been done successfully.
Who chases in this?
Yeah. The last director of this laboratory actually did chase on a motorcycle when he was in college.
A motorcycle?
Yeah, in hail.
Not smart. Maybe he had a helmet.
Right, he had a helmet.
Moped, maybe less smart even.
That's not the best chase mobile right there.
The level of detail and research and data that are trying to be collected is much more extensive than I expected.
And it helps you back at the station when we have warnings, help save lives at the same time.
We're all a team. Storm Prediction Center, National Weather Service, the National Severe Storms Laboratory, the broadcasters, it's all one common goal, and that is to protect property and lives. The Taurus project stretched from Texas all the way to North Dakota, and more than 50 scientists and students took part in the research. Pete, let's send things back to you.
Well, thanks a lot, Jesse. Now I want to talk about outdoor warning sirens, okay? I've got a couple of things that you absolutely have to hear. These outdoor warning sirens, they're designed to alert people outside. Outdoor warning sirens. They're designed to alert people outside to seek shelter. They're not designed to alert you in your house, okay? So they're not meant to be heard indoors, although many times we can hear them in our homes. They are not tornado sirens. That's another misconception. I think 100 years ago, yes, they were just tornado sirens, but they're not tornado sirens anymore, and they haven't been for a number of years. Most North Texas cities adopted the North Central Texas Council of Governments guidelines in 2009, and those guidelines, they trigger those sirens, those outdoor warning sirens, for three things. Number one, if there's a tornado warning. Number two, if there's winds of 70 miles an hour or greater. And number three, if you have hail that's 1.5 inches or larger. Those are the three things that will trigger those outdoor warning sirens. So some cities such as Denton, Keller, because not every single city follows this. Some cities such as Denton, Keller, and many others, they sound their sirens for 1.25 inch hail. Many are 1.5 inch hail. They're all 70-mile-an-hour winds or stronger in a tornado, but there's a number of cities that also sound their sirens for 1.25 inch hail. So when you hear the sirens, this is what you need to do. No matter what, take shelter and turn it on WFAA. Let's talk about hail now. When it comes to filing hail claims, no state does it more than Texas. In 2023, hailstorms affected over 2 million Texas homes, causing record-breaking insured losses. Our own Jason Wheeler had to get his roof fixed because of that storm, and he learned something all Texans need to know.
The weeks-long hail train that just kept on rolling through North Texas left a lot of roofs in tatters. And I have heard from some people who are still waiting to have theirs repaired, replaced, or even assessed. Now, I went up myself to take a brief look at my own shingles recently, and I melted. That's me dripping off the roof there. To put it mildly, the broiler that we're living in now makes a roofer's job unbelievably hard. But you know what other job is hard? Choosing who should get up there to do the work, because while Texas regulates everything from electricians to associate auctioneers to combative sports judges, really, the state does not oversee roofers. A Texas roofing trade group puts it like this: anyone can call themselves a roofer in Texas, and they are not required to be knowledgeable, insured, or licensed, or even registered with the state. And that is why, hold on, after the icy stones fall in your neighborhood, give me a second, you may get a lot of laborers, yes, passing through North Texas, going door to door, asking if they can take care of your roof. Now, use much caution when choosing who will redo the covering over your head, but how if they're not regulated? Well, there are sites that vet home service professionals. Word of mouth from friends and neighbors can be helpful too. Also, always check whether the roofer has a profile with the Better Business Bureau and what kind of grade they have there. But in the absence of state oversight, you may also want to check with the roofing contractor Contractors Association of Texas. That's the trade industry group I was talking about a moment ago. They actually developed their own roofer licensing program, and they have a searchable directory of their roofing members. There is also a North Texas Roofing Association that has great consumer resources, like the 17 questions you should ask a prospective roofer. Stuff like what kind of and how much insurance coverage they have, since they're going to be up there on your roof, and what is their warranty for labor, and do they have credit or consumer references for you, and are they going to get the required permits? I could go on and on with this, but that usually makes my producer go through the roof, and we've had enough damage there.
Cars submerged, people rescued from their homes. Flash floods are typical in Texas, and we see it every spring. Coming up, how to protect yourself. Plus, we show you what to look for during severe storms to keep your family safe. If you didn't know, Texas is the flash flood capital of the United States. Every year we see scenes like this, cars submerged in high water. Well, you've heard me mention this over the years. Please adhere to this. Turn around, don't drown. Stop. Turn around, don't drown. It can be life-saving information. Please, please adhere to that. And I want to talk about the water, rising water. Again, we're in the flash flood capital of the United States, right here in Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth, all the way down the I-35 corridor, right through Austin, San Antonio, and then all the way down to Laredo. So it doesn't take a whole lot of water to float a car or a pickup truck. It only takes 12 inches of fast-moving water to float a car. It comes up unexpectedly, and then before you know it, you're in major problem. You put yourself and your family potentially in a major problem. And don't just think because you've got a big pickup truck with a lift kit on it or an SUV with a lift kit on it that you're immune from this too. It takes about 18 to 24 inches of fast-moving water that can float a truck or an SUV. Remember, it does not take much at all. With all of that in mind, please adhere to this. Stop. Turn around, don't drown. Right now, though, I do want to go to Kevin Reese. And Kevin Reese is going to tell us about some of the signs you need to look for when severe weather approaches.
It's the time of year when weather experts like Jesse and Pete send people like me into delightful waterlogged situations like this.
Certainly miserable out here right now, that's obvious.
But the science that got us to Burleson that night safely can do the same for you too. We were navigating by radar that looked like this, a telltale hook that can tell you a tornado could be forming. But in the broad daylight, what can you look for? A wall cloud that looks exactly as its name implies.
Now, not all wall clouds rotate, but the ones that we're going to be really concerned about, they rotate, and they rotate quickly.
When we have a wall cloud, that's step one in the process. Step two is a rotating wall cloud. Step three would be a funnel cloud. Then step four would be a tornado.
We talk about this every year at this time because that's when we're most at risk. Cold air of winter colliding with the warm air of summer. Texas on average has 132 tornadoes a year. The busiest months for Texas tornadoes are April, May, and June.
That collision of those air masses in elementary terms is exactly what causes these severe thunderstorms.
We're giving people a reminder right now because we're at the start of, historically, the most active part of our severe weather season of the year.
Another reminder, warning sirens like the 168 in the city of Dallas aren't just for tornadoes. Severe thunderstorm warnings over 70 miles an hour and the threat of hail over an inch and a half can cause them to be activated too. But if a tornado is on the way, what can you do? If you can't shelter, can't get underground, which is generally the best advice, remember that where we live, tornadoes generally travel to the east.
Drive away from it if you can, and don't be afraid to do that.
I would go south and then I would head, off to the west. I would try to stay beneath it and then get out underneath it and then head behind it.
And the most important months to pay attention to this advice are right now. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
Remember, when severe weather hits, we'll be where you need us. On air, right here on WFAA Plus, on your WFAA app, and always on WFAA.com. Stay safe this spring.